As even just a younger kid, I was very interested in how these big companies work. How do people make money in investments? So prior to this job, I had an interest. But once I got into the job and the day-to-day and got to learn even more, I found out that it was my passion.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Thursday Talks. Today, we're talking about life as a co-op student, and we have two special guests, Dea Giovanni and Madison Allen. So they're sharing a little bit about how their experience was with finding a co-op placement, how their experience working as a co-op student has been so far, and then they're also going to give a few tips if you're planning on taking a co-op yourself. So I would like to invite Madison and Dea to join the live session. Hello.
Hello.
How are you two doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So I'll introduce all of us. So my name is Carolina. I'm a marketing coordinator here at TRU World. I'm also a TRU alumni, and I work with the International Marketing Department here at TRU, and I'm a social media and events coordinator. And please, if Madison, you can introduce yourself as well.
I'm Madison. I am the International Marketing and Events Coordinator Co-op for TRU World. I am currently in my fourth year of my Bachelor of Business Administration, majoring in marketing and minoring in international business.
Awesome. And Dea, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dea Di Giovanni. I am the marketing co-op student at the TRU Career and Experiential Learning Department for the summer. I am currently a student at TRU studying post-baccalaureate in marketing. And I'm also from Indonesia. So I'm an international student.
Yeah. So we have a few questions set, but then we're also going to be answering any questions that we have from the audience after this. So we're encouraging everyone to comment your questions below, and we're going to be getting to them as soon as we're done with our preset questions. And we're just going to have a casual discussion, kind of understand your experience as a co-op student and how it's been so far. I know it's quite different now with COVID, a lot of working from home, which is news for a lot of us. So I'm excited to hear your experience. So can any of you tell me a little bit about, first, what's the co-op program about?
So co-op is very similar to like an internship. It's essentially where you're getting paid to work in the field that you're currently studying in. And then the co-op courses still count towards school. So you're earning money while you're going to school, essentially. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's a very cool program. Do you have anything to add to that, Dea?
Yeah, no, it's just so you get to alternate between a school semester and a work semester, I guess is what it's called. And so while you work, if you're taking a work semester, then you don't take any classes. It's not recommended to take any classes. But the next semester, then if you take a school semester, then it does not count as a co-op work term.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing program. If I'm not mistaken, you get 3 credits per work term. Yes. And if anyone has any other questions, there's tons of information at tru.ca/co-op with all the details and how many semesters you can take doing your degree. So let's start with the questions, shall we? So why did you choose the co-op program? And you guys can take turns into responding, whoever wants to go first. But the first one is, why did you choose the co-op program?
Well, for me, there was a lot of reasons why I wanted to do it. I'm a marketing student, and I knew that a lot of companies want to hire a person with a degree when you're looking for a marketing job. So this was a great way for me to actually get some marketing experience while still going to school. Also getting paid while I'm studying, while continuing my studies, of course. And it's great on your resume. It looks amazing if you can graduate with experience already. I've learned a lot about marketing, and I've used what I've learned in school in my positions, and then I've learned even more in the positions I've had. So it's kind of a lot of well-rounded knowledge that you gain, and it really sets you up very well for graduation and future career.
Awesome. What about you, Dea? Why did you choose the co-op program?
So I signed up for co-op on like the fourth day that I started at TRU. It was still orientation, and I just heard about the co-op program, and I'm like, "Ooh, what is this?" I asked a bunch of questions, and then decided to apply on that very same day because I am new to Canada, so I don't have any connections here, and so I figured by doing a co-op work term, I can slowly transition into the working world while I'm still at school, and also with the help of the school while finding the co-op programs, and to network, because I don't know anybody since I'm an international student. I just moved here, so I feel like the connection part is a strong motivator for me to join co-op.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think in Canada, that's really important. That's what I found when I came here too, is that networking is huge. We don't imagine that. We just think we're gonna, go to school and we're gonna apply for jobs, but it's really about gaining those connections and networking with people, and going to different places where you wouldn't meet the same people all the time. So that's a great comment.
Yeah, and another great thing about co-op is you don't have to do it just in Kamloops too. You can do it across the Canada. We even have some international co-ops, I believe. So you don't have to stay here. You can experience more of Canada and see some more cities and network even more.
Yeah, no, it's a great program, and it's very flexible as well, because you can do in any of the semesters. You can do winter, summer, fall. So whatever semester you want to take off and do some work, it's a great opportunity. So second question, sorry, I need to look down on my list. But so you guys talked about how, you've learned about the co-op, and you thought it was a great idea and a great experience in order for you to gain real work experience here in your field. But how did you go through the process? How does it work? How do you apply for a co-op? Do you need to take any courses? Or if you guys can please comment on that.
Yeah, so you do have to apply, and I think you can find all the information on our website. So once you apply, then you do a 1-credit course, and it's a very helpful course. They talk about how to build your resume, develop your LinkedIn profile. You can do mock interviews. So it's a lot of great knowledge that you learn in this course. And then once you're in the course, you'll get access to Simplicity's co-op. So that's the TRU's website where they have all the co-op jobs. And it's great. You can see everything, and you can apply to the ones that fit your needs and what you want to do.
That sounds really cool. What do you think it was the most? I know for me, when I first came to Canada and I had to create my resume, I found it shocking how different it was from Brazil, where I'm from. Dea, what did you find? What were the main differences for you when you were preparing to apply for jobs here in Canada?
Oh yeah, it was very different, resume-wise, and also a lot of like your behavior when you're at an interview. Where I'm from, eye contact is not seen as something that is important, and especially there are also some parts where you're not allowed to make eye contact with people if you're younger than them. And so when I did my co-op course here, which is called Co-op 1000, it was all very shocking to me to see that, you have to maintain eye contact, and then also you have to do handshake in a certain way. They introduced us to the many different handshakes in class, and told us to practice them. But obviously now that with the current restrictions, I don't think the current class will be able to do the handshake assignment. But yeah, lots of different things. It's just different because I'm from a different country and from literally the other side of the globe as well.
Yeah. Do you need experience to apply for co-op, or how does it work? Or can you just be a student with no experience? What did you guys see as a trend when you were looking for a placement?
Yeah, you don't need experience. They know that you're a student, you know that you're going to school. You're not going to have some of the experience that a typical person in the field may have, and that's totally fine. I always found it was important to tailor the experience I have had to the job as much as possible. So maybe I worked retail for a while and I had a lot of customer service experience. Well, my current co-op is a lot about communicating. So I tried to say like, well, I don't have recruitment experience, but I've dealt with a lot of people before, you know, and so you just kind of take whatever experiences you do have and try and show how you will be able to use them in your current position.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. That's also something I didn't know in the beginning. I had that sample resume. First of all, I didn't even have a cover letter because I had no idea what a cover letter was. So for me, that was kind of a shock. So creating a cover letter, which if you're watching and you are not sure what it is, it's basically in Canada, you not only provide the employer with your resume, but you also provide them with kind of a brief summary about you and your experiences and why you won that position. So that's what it's called, a cover letter. And it took me a while to really learn how to write one. And I think it's great that you mentioned that during the course, they help you draft your resume and your cover letter because they're not that easy of tasks. And I know the career department not only does this for co-op students, you can also get their help. If you're a student that's not taking co-op, you can go to their office and they are more than happy to help you with drafting your resume and cover letter. So it's pretty cool. Can you only take co-op terms in your field of study, or can you take different ones? How does that work?
So you can take it kind of whatever you want. You may be a business student but interested in science, and if you are, then great, and you could definitely apply to like a research position. You just maybe want to try and tailor your resume a little bit more since you may have a bit less experience in that. But yeah, you are more than welcome to apply to whatever co-ops you see there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's nice that I know there's many students that are studying either a major in marketing, but they have a minor in theater or in biology. So completely two different things. So you can take more than one co-op term and you can kind of get the experience from all fields and then figure it out when you graduate, where do you want to go to? So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about co-op is you get to try out whatever job you want to try. And then because it's just a co-op work term, if you don't like it, then you can just, okay, well, at least now I know this job doesn't work for me. So maybe the next time I can try something else. Or if you want to try it again, it's all up to you on where you want to go.
Yeah. So is it the work term 4 months or 6 months? How is it 4 months, right?
4 months per work
month.
term, yeah.
And that's a good time. You can really experience a job in 4 months, and in 4 months you can really know if you like that position or not. So that's pretty interesting. How has your experience been so far in the program, Madison? I know you've been a co-op student for almost 4 semesters now. Dea, I know you've just started. So kind of explain a little bit about your different perspectives as a person that's been doing it for a long time and someone who just started.
I've loved my experiences. I've worked for 2 companies now, and I'm currently in my 4th term. So the first company I worked for, together we created a co-op. I had already started working there previously, and they were interested in me as a co-op student, and I, of course, wanted to as well. So we kind of made that happen. So that was great. I did a lot more kind of marketing with social media and projects to do with like campaigns. So that was very interesting. And then my second company is TRU. And so it's a very different company. It's more of an institution. So I've seen the differences of having a small company versus a large. And this one is more about recruitment focused, communication with like students. And so it's been very different sides of marketing that I've been able to experience, which has shown me a lot. And my minor is international business, which working in the international department is perfect for me. And I've loved every minute of it. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. I keep doing co-ops because I keep learning so much and loving it. I definitely would recommend it. I've learned many new skills like communication, especially since we've all moved to virtual. Communication is probably the key. So there's been lots of different programs, different apps that I've been using to contact people. It's been a change, but it's been very rewarding. And I think I've learned a lot more because of it. So yeah, the co-op terms have been great for me. I've developed a lot of skills personally, professionally. Overall, it's been a great experience.
What about you, Dea?
I totally get what Madison meant about co-op being a lot of fun and how she keeps going for new co-op work terms, because I'm on the same boat now. It's just right now I'm currently on my first co-op work term ever, and also my current job is my very first job in this marketing field. So for anybody who's wondering if you need a background in that industry, you don't. I have a completely different background. Well, not completely, sort of related, but my background is in graphic design. But throughout the entire time I was working in the graphic design industry, I did not have any marketing responsibilities at all. I was just designing. So yeah, my current job is completely virtual. I have not met anybody from my department yet in person. It's always just been video calls or quick phone calls. So it's a very new environment for me as well. It's a new job and a new environment. But I still learn a lot of things because thankfully, even though everything is virtual, it worked out for me in my industry because most of the things that I do is online anyway. So I do a lot of social media content creation. I help plan and develop events, even though they're virtual events. But yeah, it's just been a lot of fun, regardless of whether it's in person or online. Well, most of the things are online. I haven't really had anything in person yet, aside from like a small presentation with a small group of people. But yeah, it's been great. I would love to do a lot more co-op work terms. I'm planning on doing one already next semester.
That's really interesting. So you started your term during the pandemic. Did you also go through the interview process during the pandemic, or things were still open then? How did that work?
I did my interview online as well. So it all happened in this room. The entire time from the very beginning of the co-op work term, like applications and stuff, I still applied online. I sent my cover letter online. I did my interview online. And then when I got approved, I also did my very first introductory meeting to the entire department online as well. So everything was just online. I haven't met anybody in person yet.
So that's cool. So you were able to adapt so easily. That's really interesting. I like that. And you're doing a lot of digital work. So
Yes.
You're gaining a lot of. I'm pretty sure you're using many more like softwares that you need to use to communicate with your team. So that's pretty cool that you're gaining that experience as well. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very helpful in your field. Madison, so you did in office and now you're working from home. How is that different? What did you find about working from home?
It's quite different. I don't mind working from home. My position has definitely changed since this started. A lot of my job is virtual, but there were certain things. I would give campus tours to international students. I would plan and organize recruitment kind of trips to Kamloops. So I would fly to Vancouver and bring students back here, show them around. So all of those types of jobs I can't do any longer. Which I did really enjoy, but now it's mainly focusing on communication. And since this is such a different and challenging time, it's very important right now to have strong communication. And so a lot of it is contacting students and ensuring that we tell them, what to expect in the fall semester as far as we know, and the following semesters. So it's definitely been a change. As much as sometimes it's nice to kind of roll out of bed, quickly get ready, and be on the computer. I do miss being in the office and being able to see people face to face. But I was lucky that I was in the office, so I already had met everyone. I worked with them in person a lot, and now I know everyone's roles. I know who to contact if I have a question, which makes it a lot easier on me. So it was nice that I had that in-person contact beforehand, for sure.
Yeah, and you adapted really well. I'm biased to that because I work with you, so I know. So it's pretty cool. And I'm a question that I kind of want to know. I know that working, you're not only gaining professional experience, but you're also improving a lot of things on a personal level. A lot of times you start at your job and you're a little bit shy, but then you find that you're really good at communicating. So how did you find that? What did you think that you improved in?
For me, like a lot of things were improved, like communication skills, just in general now I'm better in my personal life, in my work life. Definitely like multitasking, being able to do a bunch of different projects. Confidence, I think, is huge. Before all this, I had never done anything in marketing at all. And now I feel like I have built up my resume quite a bit so I can answer questions. I know certain trends. I know recruitment strategies. There's just been so much that you learn. I've been in charge of some big roles that I didn't think I would be given that responsibility. For example, going to Vancouver and bringing back students and everything that went along with that. I spearheaded a marketing campaign for an anniversary for my first co-op. So a lot of tasks that I didn't think they would give to a student. And they've really shown me that, if you have like the support you need, anything's possible. And it really does build your confidence that you know that you can do this job in the future.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Dea? What did you think that it really helped to improve not only on a professional level but also on a personal level so far? Because
Yes.
it's still pretty new.
Yes, I'm only, I think, 2 months or even a month. I started mid-June, so I'm only about a month in to my work term. And when everything went digital, I thought, oh, would that mean I would be limited to learning certain skills only, or like I won't really learn anything? But no, I did learn a lot of things as well. And just like Madison, I also learned a lot about communicating through emails or even like through phone calls or during meetings, how to communicate my ideas efficiently and to make sure everybody's not confused by what I'm saying. And also because everything became digital, I learned a lot about technology, about different apps that you can use, and just how to navigate through emails and everything. And that being the main method of communication, because usually when we had in-person things, I can just be in a conversation with somebody in person, and then I can just be like, oh yeah, I'll send you this through email. And then in the email, I just don't say anything. I just put whatever attachment that I told them I was going to send them. But now that everything's digital, I have to actually put in, okay, here is the thing that I mentioned during the meeting earlier, blah, 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 just so they remember and not like, what is this attachment? Where did this come from? Yeah, so lots of communication. Digital
sorry, no,
skills.
go ahead.
Yeah, so lots of communication skills and digital technology, learning how to use them mainly the two of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, I found that communicating online kind of makes me a little bit more organized, because then I don't forget about the conversations I had in person. I have everything documented, so I can just search whatever I sent, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's regarding this subject, so now I remember. I think it's a great skill to have, to just be able to communicate in every form possible, because you're calling people, you're emailing, you're talking through, it can be Microsoft Teams or Slack or any software that you're using. So I think it's a great skill, especially on this day and age where you need to know everything tech.
Yeah, definitely.
What would be your advice for students that are looking into getting into the co-op? And what do you think that it really helped, or any in terms of attitude, or just like in general, what would be your advice for students that are thinking of co-op, but they might not be as confident that they're going to get a placement, or what would you say to that?
My biggest thing would be enthusiastic. I know, like, it's important to apply for jobs that you want to work for. You don't have to apply for like 30 jobs and see what happens. I would recommend apply for one or two, and then go from there. And if you research the company, if you are excited about their values, the position that you're in, that really shows in an interview and on your resume, and it really kind of sets you apart from other people that may just kind of apply for everything. So I'd say, yeah, be motivated, work hard, and just, yeah, be very enthusiastic about it would be the best.
What about you, Dea? What would you say to students?
Yeah, be motivated and also be curious, because a lot of the time when I just moved here in general, I was scared of everything. I was scared of saying hello to people. I was scared of even emailing my professor asking for a question that I didn't understand in class, or I was just scared of literally everything. If I have to network, I'm scared. If I have to do an interview, I get scared. So what I did was I eventually went to see a career counselor at TRU, and I told him that I'm nervous about everything. I just cannot proceed with school because I get too nervous about everything. But he gave me a very wonderful advice, which was to be curious. So instead of saying, like, say I'm nervous about public speaking, and I feel like, oh, I'm bad at public speaking. Rather than saying that, change your mindset into something like, okay, I know I'm bad at public speaking, but how can I make this better? Say, Caro is good at public speaking. Maybe I can ask her on how she manages to be so good at public speaking. I can just send her a quick message or an email, or if it's even a classmate, if you see a classmate that's good at public speaking in class, just ask them, hey, how do you do it so well? I get so nervous when I'm doing public speaking. So just, yeah, be curious and put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to ask questions to anyone.
On to that, asking questions is huge. I do that in my job all the time about everything. And I learned so much because you're working with people in the industry and they've been in the industry for so long. Like, they have so much knowledge. And so I just ask questions about everything, and it is all very good information that I get back. And it's stuff I can take throughout the rest of my life.
Yeah, I would add to that as well. Not only in co-op, but in working in general, especially as a student or a recent grad, taking initiative is a big thing. You really need to show your employer that you're excited about doing something and that you want to learn and you're eager to learn and you're eager to do it well. I think that makes a difference, especially in Canada as well, where it's very noted. When you're new, and as Dale was saying, scared of starting and like talking to people, I think taking initiative is the main thing, and asking questions. When I started as well, I would ask questions about everything. And I would always think, maybe I'm bothering people by asking questions, but that actually shows that you're eager to learn and you're there and you really want to improve and you really want to provide the best work. So that's an amazing advice for students, is just don't be shy. Just go out there, put yourself out there, and you're going to succeed. And then what would you say for students? Because you mentioned, taking initiative. And what else did you find that maybe something that once you started the co-op, you realized that it really made a difference with your supervisors, something that you were doing, or how to stand out in your co-op. I think because there's, you're working with different companies if you're taking more than one term of co-op. So how do you make sure that you stand out with your employers? Because that's big as well for networking.
For me, I asked a bunch of questions, and once I kind of had a good understanding of the role and the task, if I could, I would give my advice or ask if we could do something maybe a little differently or try something. I was always very scared to do that because it didn't really feel like my place, but lots of times it was helpful, and just especially me coming from a student perspective, communicating with students, it was kind of like what was needed that maybe wasn't thought of before. So definitely, if you have an idea, bring it up, because it shows your supervisors, it shows everyone that you care about your position, that you have innovative ideas. And it really, shows your value and your worth to them. And then through that, I've been able to do even more projects because they see that I care and that I want to expand my knowledge and learn more. So then they'll give me more tasks to do.
That's
taking initiative is a good one too. Just don't be afraid to just give your idea. And also, one thing that I learned in my case, since my everything was online, was that my supervisors are not able to see what I'm doing, because I think in real life you can just pop into the room and ask, hey, how are you doing? But in here it's like, do they have to email me every day to check in on me? Would that be annoying to both of us? So I figured, because I'm generally very, very organized, because I forget everything, so I have to be organized, otherwise it will be a mess. I did a live, I call it the live diary, but it's just a Google spreadsheet that has all of my daily activities that I listed there, and then I give the link to my supervisors that they can access at any time during the day, and then it's live. So if I update it, it will be reflected on their screen if they access it. So maybe this advice is more of, I think, outside of the box, and how to make communication between you and your supervisors easier, which in my case really helped, because this was their first time doing everything online as well, so they didn't know how to check in on me without just emailing me every day. So I figured that diary really helped.
Yeah, no, those are great advices. I agree with both. I think that it's really thinking outside the box and providing ideas too, because a lot of times we're not confident because we think we're just students. They won't listen. You're always open to listening. If you have something to say, just say it, and always, of course, know the right time and the right place to say it, but always put yourself out there, and that's the best way for you to get. If you don't risk it, you won't get anything in return. So you might as well, if your opinion is good and they accept it, then it's great. It's great for you. It shows that you're really working hard. So I see that we have a few questions. If they're too specific, I will ask the viewers to go to tru.ca/co-op, but I see that we have some experience-related ones. There's someone asking about the English level. Do you think that working in English, do you think that that was a barrier for you, Dea? How did you find transitioning from, English to your second language? So how did you find that?
That was, thankfully, one of my supervisors she's a writer, the writer and storyteller at TRU. So she helps a lot with the English department if I am lacking in that. But I let that be an open thing with my supervisors. I tell them that English is not my first language. And since my job is in marketing, English is required to market to TRU students. But I definitely do my own learning as well outside of the job, like reading lots of social media content to see what type of English that they use. And also always double checking with my supervisors on just how to English in my job. So I think it's like, don't worry if you don't think that your English is not good. Just make it open to your supervisor, and also to let them know that you may need help from time to time, because asking for help is okay, but also show that you're also doing some work to work on your English.
Yeah, that's great advice. And then there's also a lot of tools that you can download and install on your computer that help with correcting, because even though you're fluent, there's still a couple things that you're always in doubt when using it in a work setting. So and it's also practice, right? Once you start, then you're good to go. Madison, I know you work for a very international department. How did you find that contrast with working with people from different nationalities? Because in Canada, any job that you have, you're always going to have a very diverse office. So how did you find that with being Canadian? How did you find working in an international setting?
I loved it. It was so cool. Like, I could walk down the hall and I could hear like 5 or 6 different languages just like in the span of like a minute. So no, it's great. And everyone there spoke at least like 1 or 2 other languages. And so it was very interesting because I only speak English. It was, it's a lot of work for them to have to speak English all the time. And so I answer a lot of international students' emails. And sometimes, I have to clarify a few things just to make sure I completely understand the student. But no, it's totally fine. There's little bits of differences depending on what country people are from. But in general, like, everyone has a very good level of English. And it's really rewarding to be able to, communicate on like a, one platform and be able to understand everyone. It's good. I miss hearing all the different languages at work.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool experience. I've had a few jobs in Canada, and every job is like you're just working with different people, and it's so interesting because not only you're gaining the job experience, you're improving yourself personally, but you also have that international experience. So that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna put you two on the spot because I'm curious. Do you have any funny stories during your co-op terms that you can share, or anything that at first you thought you were doing wrong and then you realized that no, or any stories of an accomplishment or anything that you guys would like to share?
I had kind of a weird task that I like loved, but for Halloween we like dressed up, and so for like the whole morning I got to make like paper hats for everyone, and it was so random, but I absolutely loved it, and we have such good photos from it now. And you never know what to expect in your co-ops. So
yeah, you did really well. I have to say, you made hats out of paper and they were incredible. So we dressed up as a hashtag. So because we're the marketing department, so all of us, we
That's
had
amazing.
a letter. I know, and it read "My TRU," so that's pretty cool. And Madison did the hats; they looked great. So she learned a weird skill during her co-op, which was making paper hats. Yeah. What about you, Dea? I know you've recently been featured in a big billboard.
Oh, yes, I was about to tell you about that, actually.
Yeah, please share about that.
Yeah, sure. So one of my supervisors received a request for from Marcom, Marketing Communications Department at TRU, to connect her with a student who would be willing to do a social distance photo shoot for TRU marketing materials, basically. So my supervisor directed her to me. And I was like, yeah, sure. How is this going to go? Do I need to wear anything formal? And they're like, no, just be super casual. And I am usually very, very nervous around camera, or I'm just a nervous person in general, everywhere, on or off camera. So when my supervisor was just checking in on me, like, are you going to be okay? Do you need me to be around? And so I'm like, yes, please, because I don't know how I'm going to do on camera. So she was there and she brought her dog, and I love animals. So I was like, yes, there is a dog. So I immediately relaxed because there is a dog. And then just on the spot, the photographer was like, oh, how about we just include the dog in the photo shoot? So I'm like, yes, that would be great. So yeah, we included the dogs, and then we did the photo shoot. And I didn't hear back until a week later or so. Kim Anderson, the amazing photographer, shout out to Kim, emailed me saying, you are on a billboard. So I'm like, oh my God. So we planned a drive to where one of the billboards are and just went crazy there. We're like, oh my God, there's me and the dog there. It's just
So you
an
became a
amazing
model. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm like, I'm on a billboard. I've never even been on a billboard in my own country. And now I'm in a billboard in somebody else's country. But that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
you might
pretty
see
cool.
me
Just,
around
yeah,
around town.
you're famous and now, yeah. That's pretty cool. It just goes to show how you gain many skills. It's crazy. You can do the most random things, but they're still so gratifying, and you learn so much from it. So now when your next photo shoot, you're gonna be super comfortable. So that's pretty cool. I think those are it for questions for now. Do you guys have anything else to say before we end this amazing chat?
Just good luck if you want to apply for a co-op. If you can't do a co-op, also connect with the career department, because they have more services than just for co-op. But yeah, if you have any questions, always feel free. You can message us through TRU World or find me on Instagram or anywhere, and I'd be happy to help you with anything.
Yeah, I'm from Career and Experiential Learning Department, so I'm biased, but definitely do go see one of our career counselors if you need any advice about career, and also follow us as well on social media at TRU Student Life on Instagram or facebook.com/TRU Career Education for our Career and Experiential Learning Department Facebook page. We will be posting just a bunch of career tips, resumes, cover letters, anything you can think of that's career related. So make sure you follow us there.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining, and special thank you to Dea and Madison for joining on this discussion today. Our first ever Thursday talks. We're going to be doing this every week, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if your questions haven't been answered yet, make sure to leave them in the comments, and we're going to go back to it. And make sure to follow us, TRU World, on Instagram and here on Facebook. And yeah, thank you so much, ladies. Have a great day.
Thank you, Carol.
Bye.
Bye.
As even just a younger kid, I was very interested in how these big companies work. How do people make money in investments? So prior to this job, I had an interest. But once I got into the job and the day-to-day and got to learn even more, I found out that it was my passion.